Yeah, we know the Labour government haven't exactly been positive about Donald Trump in the past. I mean, ministers have called him a racist, called him a misogynist, called him a white supremacist, called him a KKK sympathiser, all the insults under the sun. So surprise, surprise, Keir Starmer.
It's been reported that Keir Starmer is planning to deploy King Charles in a last-ditch attempt to win over Donald Trump. Emily, I've got to say, I wish him the very best of luck because Trump didn't even invite Starmer to his inauguration. What does he think that King Charles will do to help him?
Him here. ST's political trajectory is plummeting. The Labour leader, once celebrated as the beacon for British politics, now finds himself persona non grata in Trump's inner circle. This isn't merely a clash of egos. It's a seismic realignment in UK-US ties that could transform the global geopolitical arena. The burning question on everyone...
Donald Trump particularly loved the late Queen Elizabeth. He did have a state visit where he met the Queen and spent the day with her, well, a couple of days. So this is a move from Keir Starmer, but I think Keir Starmer probably should look at himself. Not invited to the inauguration, despite the fact that so many other foreign leaders have been. But yes, he's going to wheel out the royal family, which probably is a sensible move. We know that Donald Trump loves the royal family.
One's lips is, can ST survive this international debacle? Keir Starmer's rise to the helm of the Labour Party was nothing short of meteoric. He vowed a fresh era for British politics, a fusion of realism and progressive ideals meant to reinvigorate the party and challenge the conservative establishment. Initially, his popularity was undeniable. He was perceived as a unifying force, bridging the gap between Labour's traditional working-class core and its metropolitan backers. His experience as a human rights lawyer and his tenure as Director of Public Prosecutions imbued him with a sense of competence and gravitas that many argued had been missing from the party's previous leadership. However, the honeymoon phase was brief. As Starmer maneuvered through the perilous waters of British politics, cracks began to appear in his carefully crafted persona. His management of internal party disputes and his stance on Brexit led many to question whether his leadership style was overly cautious, excessively compromising, or simply inadequate for the challenges ahead. It was Starmer's approach to international relations, most notably with the United States, that eventually proved his undoing. In a move that startled both sides of the Atlantic, Starmer chose to comment on the U.S. elections by criticizing Trump's policies and openly endorsing the Democratic candidate. While this may have resonated with certain segments of the British electorate, it was a colossal misstep on the global stage. Political analysts quickly highlighted the perils of such a strategy. Dr. Emily Thornberry, a professor of international relations at ISSE, remarked, "It's highly unconventional for a British opposition leader to adopt a partisan stance in another country's electoral affairs." Starmer was engaging in a hazardous game, one that could have serious consequences for UK-US relations. And consequences there were. Never one to accept criticism silently, Trump publicly rebuffed Starmer's overtures for a meeting during a state visit. The episode, captured live on television, turned into a humiliating spectacle that left Starmer visibly rattled while the British public cringed in collective discomfort. The fallout was swift and severe. Conservative MPs leapt at the opportunity to accuse Starmer of undermining the special relationship between the UK and the US. Even within his own party, murmurs of dissent began to surface. One Labour backbencher, speaking anonymously, commented, "Starmer mishandled the situation terribly. He's made us appear inept on the world stage." As the dust settled, it became evident that Starmer's interference in the U.S. elections had boomeranged disastrously, isolating him and exposing vulnerabilities in his leadership. The man once hailed as Labour's shining hope now finds himself battling for his political survival. Trump's dismissal of Starmer wasn't merely a personal rebuff, it was a diplomatic tremor with reverberations across the Atlantic. The special relationship between the UK and the US, a cornerstone of global politics for decades shaping trade accords and military alliances, now stands on precarious ground.
Like this video and subscribe my channel.
This isn't about bruised egos or wounded pride, it's about Britain's capacity to assert itself on the international stage. As Starmer scrambles to regain footing, whispers suggest that other figures may be waiting in the wings to seize the opportunity. Nigel Farage, for example, appears to be drawing closer to Trump. Could we be witnessing the emergence of a new power dynamic once the dust has fully settled on this international embarrassment? One pressing question remains. Is this the beginning of the end for Starmer's political career? The future of UK-US relations now hangs in the balance, with potential global ramifications that extend well beyond the fate of one politician. Starmer's capacity to weather this storm will not only determine his personal political survival but could also reshape the landscape of British politics for years to come. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to my channel for the latest political updates.